Hello, professor and classmates. My name is Carla Cevallos, and today I'm gonna be talking about in this presentation about the key learnings that I've gained from the class Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion in Management and Operations with Professor Rachel Tanika. So this is a table of content, which basically we're gonna go through the analysis from the assignments from week 1 to week 7. And finally, we're going to end up with some conclusions. So this presentation shows all the learnings from week 1 to 7 of this class, and in every single slide I will be highlighting the key principles and concepts, as well as many case studies that are relevant to global human resources practices. Also, this presentation will include topics like human resources internationalization, cross-border communication, market entry strategies, multinational operations, labor relations, and global pay systems. Each slide is going to include practical lessons from real-world firms like Ford, Capgemini, and BCE, emphasizing always in human resources strategic importance in a global setting. This analysis would also demonstrate how human resources professionals must adapt to legal, cultural, and organizational complexity in order to success in an effective way in global environments. In week 1, we learned about internationalization of human resources management. In this assignment, we explored the growing impact of globalization on human resource management. As a reference, we used Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 of the textbook, as well as the case number 2.1 called Ford Motor Company Goes International. This case study helped us to analyze the forces behind international business expansion and how human functions adapt in a globalized environment. I put here 4 major key learnings, and one of them was the forces such as global trade, technology, and labor optimization drive businesses internationalization. Also, the human resources roles now include managing expatriates, cross-border compliance, and global performance systems. I find out in this assignment the major difference between domestic and international human resource, which include legal systems, cultural complexity, and broader talent management. As an example, I used a small enterprise called Titan Tone Fitness Miami that shows that with the engagement with international human resources trends, you can actually gain more clients using the correct digital platforms. From week 2, we learned communication in global M&As. In this week number 2 assignment, we analyzed the importance of communication strategies in global mergers and acquisitions. Using as a reference the case of BCE, we assessed how leadership, multi-channel messaging, and cultural awareness can ease transition challenges during cross-border integration. So in this case study, we could learn how effective communication was the key to the enterprise BCE integration success across the 43 countries in which they are operating. Also, the importance of the use of multi-channel ways of communication, and the importance also of a visible leadership, as well as applying the two-way Q&A and how this tool improved trust and inclusion. Besides that, we can learn how employees value the clarity on their roles and also the operational structure. And the most important part, the job security during the transitions. Finally, the human resources role is critical in delivering operational changes and sustaining morale. So here we learn about the importance of the human resource department, because they are the ones that have to spread how is gonna the new transition work, and how to give a little bit peace of mind to the employees. In week 3, we learned about M&E's market entry strategies. So we focus in this week on the evaluation of why multinational enterprises choose different international expansion strategies, such as acquisitions, international joint ventures, and alliances. We examined the variables influencing these choices, and also we will recommend the most effective strategy overall. In the first place, we have acquisitions, from which we learn that this kind of strategy offers fast control but have a high cost and integration issues. So probably this is not the best strategy that an M&E can apply. On the other hand, we have international joint ventures, which provide local insights, cost sharings, and flexibility. This is more likely a strategy that can be applied by an M&E during an expansion. Finally, we have alliances, which are less capital intensive and support mutual goals, but with autonomy. So this is another strategy that can be applied by M&Es without a doubt. So finally, what we can say is a strategic choice it will always depend on market openness, risk tolerance, and the resources of the company. In week 4, we learned about transnational human resources management. In these assignments, we analyzed the case 3.1 about Capgemini's enterprise and how the structure allows Capgemini to be considered a transnational organization. We examine the human resource management implication of operating across borders. This case of study also discussed about ethics, intellectual property, and non-compete agreements during expansion processes. So one of the most important insights about this assignment was that Capgemini exemplifies a transnational model operation because they have a good global integration and local responsiveness. Human resources the Department of Human Resources must standardize globally while respecting legal and cultural variation. Here is really important because since M&Es work in different parts of the world, they always have to have in account and give importance to different legal norms, government policies, and cultural variation. Here, employee mobility and intellectual property protection represents an ethical and legal challenge, because as we were talking before, in different parts of the world, ethics function in a different way, and the legal challenges must be different in each one of these places. Internet shifts of intellectual property ownership perceptions can be different also in different parts of the world. So it's important to take into account legal views and government policies to apply any kind of movement. In week 5, we learn about union relations, using as an example Germany versus the USA. In this way, this week's case compared union relations and employer organizations in Germany and in the United States. This case study examined how bargaining works in each country, the role of the government, and the challenges multinational companies has to face when negotiating across labor systems. So first of all, we have the model of operation of Germany, which is centralized unions, dual representation via work councils. In the other hand, we have the USA, which is the opposite because they work under decentralized unions, firm labor bargaining, and non-statutory work councils. So, kind of as a conclusion, we can say that M&Es must navigate different legal frameworks and labor cultures. So, something in common that all these assignments have had is that how MNEs have to take into account cultural variations and legal awarenesses. As a recommendation, we have that MNEs should adopt flexible, country-specific human resources strategies while promoting core global values. In week 6, we learned about global union challenges. So using the case 7.1, Global Industrial Relations at Ford Motor Company. So in this assignment, we explore labor relations across countries, focusing on union structures, negotiation styles, and government involvement. It addressed as well the challenges and future of unions in a global economy. The case of study showed how Ford faces complex union system across countries, as the example of Germany versus the USA, because both models contrast each other. The key issues in this case of study is the regulatory inconsistencies, coordination problems, and labor cost pressures. Part of the solutions are applying regional labor committees, global union networks, and cultural negotiation training for leaders and for teamwork. We learned as well that unions evolve via tech, gig economy, and global solidarity movements. Finally, in week 7, we learned about global compensation and workforce strategy. So here, based on the case 5.1, Barter and FAC, and case 11.1, global compensation issues. In this assignment, we evaluated global compensation systems and the use of immigrant labor. It assessed as well the challenges of cross-cultural pay systems and the strategic value of a global diverse workforce. In these two different cases of study, we assessed the importance of immigrants because they are vital for labor shortages, but they also have to face integration barriers. We learned that demographics push MNEs to hire abroad, and that cultural and legal constraints exist during these processes, and this can be a huge stop reason for hiring immigrants. So that's why MNEs should apply different policies so they can hire immigrants, but also at the same time offering them guarantees of good labor environments and legal rights. Centralized compensation lacks local fit. Hybrid systems are optimal. So basically this means that in MNEs should be hybrid systems in which you can hire people in a legal way, but also you can offer gigs when some employees will have problems like immigrant policies challenges. A strategic, culturally aware human resources policies ensure fair and adaptable global systems. So this is what MNEs should adapt to their operational system so they can hire immigrants. As a conclusion, I can tell that this presentation summarized the most critical lessons from week 1 to week 7, including impact of globalization on human resources management. The importance of a clear communication in international mergers was also aborded, as well as the strategic use of acquisition, joint ventures, and alliances. During this presentation, we also explored how transnational companies like Capgemini manage global integration, the contrasting union system in countries like Germany and the USA, and the evolving role of unions in multinational contexts. So overall, what I can say that I learned the most is that what all assignments have in common is how the importance of to be well trained in legal situation of each country, in which the M&Es operate, and also the importance of a good communication, especially when you work across borders. So you can have a good communication with your employees, and also when you have to make different unions with other countries and with other enterprises. These are some of the references that I use in most of my assignments, and with nothing more to say, thank you very much.